So what Fox Marvel did, they were just like, oh, don't worry though. You know, we got something. We got something for you. we know that move that probably disappointed you. You know, we know you're probably not happy about that. But we got one last Hail Mary that we're going to try to pull here. And you're like, okay, all right, we understand you're mad about Gambit. But what if we put out a trailer to make you forget all about that? You know, so what we put out is like, Fox, we're going to give you the Dark Phoenix. You know, and this is the first time this has ever happened in movies. Shut up. This is the first time it's ever happened in movies. I don't know what y'all laughing about. This never happened before. But yeah, Fox put out, and it's like, okay, 20th Century Fox. They made sure they knew it was 20th Century Fox. It says it right there on the trailer. Yeah. Right there.
It's like, even if this is the last thing we do.
Y'all all know that this is us. This is us. And it's just like, this ain't Disney. But we got a new trailer here for X-Men Dark Phoenix. So actually, it's just Dark Phoenix. Actually, it's just called Dark Phoenix. So this is bringing back all your original characters from the new trilogy of X-Men that we got. So let's take a look and let's see if this can quell the rage and the anger that most likely has occurred from the news about Gambit. Let's see where this goes. Go ahead and get into the trailer. We'll be back with our review.
You think you can fix me?
Jane, you are not broken. I'm looking at it now.
So, Dark Phoenix, next February.
On a little side note, when he says, Charles, there's always a speech and nobody cares. Only thing I can think of is that meme where it was just like, Chuckles, I'm in danger.
So, one of the things that I noticed right away, okay, all jokes aside, yeah, being serious here, I am going to acknowledge that X3 does exist. I am going to acknowledge that does exist. I was joking about it earlier, but you know,
lies.
In all seriousness, like, it does exist, and they do not try to pretend that it did not. If you notice, like, there's quite a few things like that you're looking at in this movie, in this trailer. You know, Charles going to her as a young girl and everything. She's already got her powers as a young girl. You're starting to notice, there's in that same room, looking her over and stuff like that she was in. The same pretty much thing seems to be going on as far as Charles putting the mental blocks in her mind and everything like that. So they're acknowledging, like, okay, some of the same events are going to occur, and what we promise, this is Fox is like, we promise this is better. We promise. There's no Wolverine. That's obviously because Hugh Jackman's not here anymore, so you're not going to see him in this. The first thing I will honestly say that I noticed, and this is my second time watching the trailer, but the main thing I noticed is that it seems like they've gone back to the roots of what's really made this particular X-Men franchise popular. And that's going for, you have action, but this is a drama first. Like, these are characters, these are dealing with real but these are characters dealing with the real things, dealing with real emotion and everything. So you have drama, and then you just, like I said, action just happens to be a part of it. I mean, it's kind of hard to not have the X-Men without action, but they understand, like, okay, we're going to focus on these characters more.
I'm definitely excited to see it. Like I said, I've always been a big X-Men fan since I could remember. My dad, they had all the animated series on VHS, and I could spend days, watching them over and over. And one of my favorites, series in animated series was the Dark Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
And just to see that, one of my favorite series, animated wise, comes on the big screen, like, I'm excited. Like you said, yeah, it wasn't a great movie, but just being able to see Apocalypse on the big screen,
Yeah.
it was just like, I'm excited. It's there.
Yes.
Because, aside from Thanos, Apocalypse is like number 2 in line.
It looks pretty dope. I mean, I think it'll be on par with First Class, because as you said earlier, they're bringing it back to what it should have been. Because in First Class they were all like they were mutants. They wanted to be like everybody else. They want to live normal lives. They have these real problems. And then this one here, you kind of seeing that, especially with Jean Grey, the stuff that she's going through, and Xavier, he's being kind of like that overprotective father,
right,
putting those mental blocks on her, and you're just gonna get to see like everyday human problems, but times 1,000 in this movie.
From the perspective of people that have these abilities,
right,
and everything. That's one of the things I've always really, really liked, is they really hone in on that, and they focus on that. Okay, this is what makes this series unique from everything else. It's like, we can do this. And when they tried to go full on action, fun comedy, or even just overall action movie, it never worked. X-Men Origins, it's just full on action movie, didn't work. Let's be honest, X3, that was one of the main things I hated about it, is because it was just flat out action movie, didn't work. Like, every time you tried to do this, it didn't work.
And I know I keep referencing back to the animated series. That was one thing with the Jean Grey character. As the series progressed, she would always end up passing out, or she was always like, in a way, sickly feeling, or always had a headache, or this, that, and the other. And it showed that something was always wrong with her, and it was like, why? And then then it gets into the whole she's losing, the mental blocks aren't working anymore.
Right.
She's not able to control her powers.
Exactly.
And from what the trailer looks like, I feel like that's the stages we're gonna see. Like at a young age, she can't control her powers. And, of course, it looks like her parents, riding in the car,
right,
and the accident happens. Like, I accidentally killed my parents, because I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
So, and then Xavier's going to be like, yeah, she can't control her powers. We're going to have to do this to protect her and everybody else. Because, at the end of the day, if you look at all the X-Men, Jean Grey was always that trump card.
Exactly.
That if anything would have gone wrong, you could have that was like Xavier's,
yes,
like, all right, here's everything I got, because I can't do anything else.
Exactly.
And that's what I kind of liked in. Now, granted, I don't like how they killed Apocalypse in the Apocalypse movie,
if he's actually dead.
Yeah. But the fact that they used her powers, and they banded together, and it was just like, all right, do what you got to do, and melted in.
Yep.
So I feel like they're gonna hit on, like, yeah, she, out of all the X-Men together, she's definitely the strongest and the most dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, she really is. I mean, she's taking on gods in the comics, so like Dark Phoenix anyway. She's taking on gods. She's taking on Silver Surfer and stuff like that. And I'm like, she's at that level.
And the fact that she's able to, like, sacrifice herself so many times, and she's come back so many times, because that's the whole purpose of the lore of the Phoenix. Like, Phoenix bursts into flames and then resurrects within the ashes, and just seeing that with Jean Grey so many times in the comics. Yes, they've overplayed it so many times, but the fact that we get to see it on the big screen, that's what I'm excited for.
Yeah, same here. I feel like regardless of the problems with X-Men Apocalypse, they set this up pretty well.
Yeah.
As far as like her, like, not really, she can control them, but not really. But she is a force to be reckoned with if she ever just flat out unleashes. So I feel like they set that up really well, and I feel like also Xavier kind of knew, like, this is our last ditch effort here because he obviously did not want her to do that, but this is a last ditch effort, man. I mean, like if this doesn't work against Apocalypse, nothing will.
Yeah.
So I'm like, she's got to let go, knowing what would happen, which is probably going, the events of this movie, knowing that this was probably going to happen. Got the returning cast. I was surprised. I didn't think they would get everyone back, especially Jennifer Lawrence. But she's back despite what people are complaining about and everything. And I get it. To a certain degree, I was just like, all right, Mystique is not really this central character. She's not like front and center all the time and everything. I mean, she's a cool character and everything, but she's not who are they are making her out to be. And even in like the universe that they're building, she's still not. It's just like, okay, what's really making her this special character that she should be?
And the problem I have with this scene, and and I keep referencing back to the animated series. It's like they reversed the roles of Cyclops and Mystique.
Yes.
Because Cyclops was always the front
leader.
runner. Yeah. And it's just like, and in this scene, it's like, okay, you have the youngins in the back. I'm the leader because I've been with Charles since the beginning.
And like I said, a lot of that studio push because Jennifer Lawrence was, but like she's the hot ticket. She's like, she's your headliner for the most part. Just like you had, like I said, you got Robert Downey Jr. with the MCU. You had Ben Affleck with DCEU and everything. With this version of Marvel, she's top billings right now. So I get it. I get it. I understand. I mean, granted, we have other people from this cast. James McAvoy is doing really well for himself. Being in, like I said, he's going to be in the new Glass movie and everything like that. But he's also done other movies. What's his name? Magneto.
Massenbender?
Eric Fassbender. Yeah, he's doing really well for himself. Like, these guys are doing well for themselves to where they're actually becoming more household names and everything like that.
I remember him from Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah.
And, like, he was my favorite character until they killed him off, and I was just like, come on. And then when, I saw First Class and he was Magneto, I was just like, yeah, this is my dude.
I understand the frustration with Mystique in the lead. It's just like, I mean, not that she's there. It's just that she's there and she's in this position of leadership and everything. And it was just like, that's not what you've really kind of said. I mean, even in like Days of Future Past, you can really see like this isn't the direction that you were going with her. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, like, okay, she's leader in at the end of X-Men Apocalypse. I'm like, okay, why?
It's just like, if anything, it's just like in the fact that they were taking that leadership role from Cyclops. Yes. I'm just like, that's what bothered me because, like, reference again to animated series. Yes,
any series, man.
Like even with what was that, the X-Men series back in 2000 and something.
Evolution.
Evolution. Yeah, she had a part in it, but it was just like, she played like the lead of the bad guy, and I do enjoy the take that they've gone with this series, but it just doesn't sit with me well that she's a X-Men leader. Mm-hmm. Like, if anything, she was like a leader that that always caused the issue. And yes, she did that in Days of Futures Past. I liked it.
Yeah,
but. Going from that and, X-Men Apocalypse and then seeing it now, like, she's in a suit, she's, on the ground fighting with the X-Men. I'm just like, I don't know how to feel.
Like I said, for me, it's like, it's not the fact that she is fighting with the X-Men. I understand, like, you want to go a different direction because the last direction with her as the villain, you see where that led. So I understand. I get that. Like, you want to avoid that at all costs, but like, as a leader, I'm not. Like I said, this is not where you were going with this character. It's like you set her up in the first one, X-Men First Class, and then you took her down this particular path in the second one. If anything, I would think she would be more of a loner, which is where she started in Apocalypse. I'm like, she's more of this loner character. She's still going to help out, her, mutant kind and everything, but she's going to do it in her own way. I don't get like the whole like, I mean, I understand studios push and like she's the name, we gotta have her out there and out front and everything. I'm like, but you don't really, because let's go back. Let's look at X-Men Days of Futures Past. Hugh Jackman was a big name. He's the star of the series if you really think about it. Other than Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, they're the stars of the series. But where was Wolverine? Like, he was there, but was he leading? Or was he more just like, I'm taking a step back, and this is more of Professor X and Magneto's movie. This is more of the dealing with those two, and and having Mystique in there. I'm like, okay, this is your movie and everything. I'm here, but I'm not out front. I'm not, front and center all the time and everything.
Like, I'm only here to get the viewers to see what went down, because I'm the only one that can do it, really.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So, yeah, so I get that. I understand. I still don't like that. And, for all I know, maybe it's just a trailer, what do you call it? Clickbait type thing, just to get people to go see it, just like, oh, Jennifer Lawrence is in this. Okay, I'm going to go see it because Jennifer Lawrence is in it.